Okay, so let us study today about a Wheatstone bridge. So this topic is Wheatstone bridge. A very important topic in resistance, and it is applicable for capacitors also, inductors also, but the study was basically done with the help of resistors. Now it's a very important property of resistors. There are certain resistors, that is resistors need to be grouped together to get an equivalent resistance. So if they are connected in series, you can add them up. If they are connected in parallel, then you will be using the theorem of parallel resistors, that is 1 upon R equivalent is equal to 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2 plus 1 upon R3, etc. So there are certain situations in which you cannot group resistance, making use of the law of series or parallel. So in such networks, right, so you have to make use of the Kirchhoff voltage loop law, and you have to do the analysis, and then you can find the equivalent resistance or the current or voltage flowing in such complex loops. In that, there is one such configuration which cannot be reduced, but there is some condition. If that condition is met, then that circuit can be simplified, okay, and then you can do the grouping of resistors and you can find the equivalent resistance to find the main current that is flowing in the circuit. So let us see what this Wheatstone bridge is all about. Let me draw the basic diagram. Well, so do you see the arrangement of the resistors, that how I have placed them in this kind of format? Now here I have connected a galvanometer which is going to measure the current from this branch, that is say B, and this is D, let this be A and this be A. It's a galvanometer. A galvanometer is nothing but a basic current meter which is used to measure very small currents, right? Subsequently in the next topics we are going to talk about ammeter, voltmeter, and how this ammeter and voltmeter are made making use of a galvanometer. A galvanometer is a very sensitive, a coil deflection based current reading meter. The current which it reads is in microamperes, milliamperes. So this is the configuration of resistance. As you can see, from A to B, this resistance is, let us take this as P, Q, R and S. So this is a bridge of resistance, that is how it is being displayed over here. Now if a resistive network is given in this format, and if you have a ratio of this resistance, that is P upon Q is equal to R upon S. What is P? P is the value of this resistance, Q is the value of this resistance, R is the value of this resistance, and S is the value of this resistance. So if I take the ratio of these two resistance P upon Q and the ratio of this resistance Q upon R, and if they are equal, then see 2-3 things happen that you have to understand in the circuit. The current between B and D becomes 0. There is no flow of current between these 2 points. Otherwise, if this ratio does not match or tally, then current I will start from here. A current I will start from here, a current I, then it will get divided into say I1 and I2. At this point again it will get divided into 2 branching, and they will join together again to form back the current I. But there will be some flow of current between B to D. In the unbalanced condition, when this condition is not met, in that case there will be a flow of current. And why there is always a flow of current? Because when there is a potential difference between the 2 points, there will be a flow of current. If there is a potential difference between B and D, the current will flow from B to D. That means B is at a higher potential, D is at a lower potential, there is going to be a flow of current. Why there is a flow of current between A and B? Because there is, across this resistor, there is a voltage drop, right? This is at a higher potential, this is at a lower potential, so current is flowing in that direction. So for a current to flow, it requires a potential difference. If this pen has to go with a velocity, I have to take it through a distance. There has to be a potential difference. Only then it will go and travel through a velocity. At the same height, if I just leave at the same height, the velocity will be 0. Similarly, between any 2 points, if the potential difference is 0, the current will be 0. Right? Only the exception, of course it was not an exception, we had seen in the internal resistance, in a short circuit there was a current flowing through that wire, but that current was because of the internal resistance, correct? So now as I have said that the potential over here at B and the potential at D, in this configuration whenever there is a change difference of potential, there will be a flow of current. If D is at a higher potential and B is at a lower potential, then the current will flow in the opposite direction. It will always flow from a higher potential to a lower potential. And higher potential is a positive potential, lower is the negative potential. So when this condition is met, as I have told you, the voltage difference between B and D, I am not saying that the voltage at B is 0. Suppose the voltage at B, suppose if this was a 10 volt battery and the voltage B, VB is equal to say 7 volt because of certain drops, then VD also will be equal to 7 volts. So voltage VBD will be 7 minus 0, that is 0. So the difference of voltage between B and D becomes 0 when this condition is met. So what is the first condition? Is potential difference between point B and D becomes 0. The potential between B and D becomes 0 when this condition is met. Once again I am repeating, when the ratio of this resistance is equal to the ratio of this resistance, then this situation will take place. Now what all things happen because of this situation? Then there is no flow of current between points B and D. There is no flow of current between points B and D. Now you have to redraw this diagram in your book, right, in which you are going to replace this current meter, with a resistor, let this resistor PQRS, let this resistance be T, right? You have to redraw. I have that advantage of just rubbing and modifying the diagram. So after redrawing this diagram, here it gives us a resistance R, and this situation is valid. Now for this 10 ohm resistance, let us take this as suppose 12 volt, right? So each of these resistance is suppose say 3 ohms. Suppose this is say 3 ohms resistors is connected in this series. So as you can see, 3 upon 3 is equal to 3 upon 3. So this condition is met, correct? So this is a balanced bridge. So this is a balanced bridge. Now when I am putting a resistance between B and D, just try to understand what is the current flowing through the resistance. The current flowing through the resistance, because this condition is met, it is going to be, this current I is going to be 0. If this current I is going to be 0, means there is no flow of current in this resistance, right? So this resistance actually has got no importance in the circuit. Any resistor through which the current is not flowing, that resistance becomes a redundant resistance. It has got no importance in the circuit. So whether I keep the resistance or I remove the resistance, is the condition going to change? No. The potential difference between B and D, because this resistance is not drawing any current, so it is not changing the parameters of the circuit. So this resistance has got no respect, has got no importance in the circuit, and as a result what will happen? Even if I remove this resistance, still it is not going to affect the performance. Now if such a circuit is given, and if you have to find the current I flowing in the circuits, in the branches, or if you want to find the equivalent resistor of this phi resistance, what you have to find? You have been asked to find what is the equivalent resistance of all the phi resistance. Now you have to use the method of grouping of resistance, that is, 2 series resistance can be added, 2 parallel resistors can be, we can use the law of parallel resistance, that is 1 upon R is equal to 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2. With the help of that, we can reduce those resistors and we can reduce it into a form which will give me one single resultant resistance, and that resistance, if I divide that resistance divided by the 12 volt, I will get the current I in the circuit. This is our standard method. So though how much ever resistors are given, there is always some way to reduce it, except in this configuration. Now look at this, here this phi resistance, you will observe none of the 2 resistance here are in series, neither 2 resistance are in parallel, right? Can you find out 2 resistance which are in series? So you would say, sir, P and Q are in series. They are not in series because in between them there is a resistance that is connected over here. You are getting me? So such a situation cannot be considered as a merging of 2 resistance, because if I merge, how will I put this point inside that resistance, merge resistance? No. So therefore, if there is a node coming out between the 2 resistance, these 2 resistance cannot be considered as resistors in series. Next, can I consider these 2 resistors in parallel? No. One of these nodes are joined, but between the other 2 nodes there is one resistance in between. If this was joined directly, then I would have considered these 2 resistance as parallel resistance, but it will not be the case in this, right? So these 2 resistance are also not in parallel. Here in this diagram, if you have to reduce this diagram using the methods of resistors in series and parallel, this configuration cannot be reduced, okay. So now but here we have one breather, and that is what? A Wheatstone bridge. In such a condition, then you have to check, is it satisfying, is the bridge a balanced bridge? First thing is that you should recognize this form as it is a form of a Wheatstone bridge. They can draw this in some other form, but you have to redraw it in this form of a bridge, because you want to check whether this situation exists for this configuration or not. So here in this particular case, after I get the values of P, Q, R, S, T, I realize that this bridge is in a balanced state. If this is a balanced state, this resistance is having no meaning, as I have explained to you. So even if I remove this resistance, it will not have any disturbance to the circuit, and the whole same circuit can be redrawn here in this particular way. This will be P, this will be Q, this will be R, and this will be S, right? I have removed this resistance, and what do I get? An equivalent resistance network, right? With the in between resistance removed, because it has having no meaning in that particular circuitry. Now you can see that these two resistors can be seen as resistors in series. Similarly, R and S now in pure series, because there is nothing connected in between this. That what was connected virtually I have removed because it was having no importance. So now the next step will be to add these two resistors in series. So this was 3 ohms, this is 3, this is 3, and this is 3. So I will get what? 6 ohms and 6 ohms in parallel. So now I will get a circuitry which will have a resistance which is of 6 ohms, and this is 6 ohms connected to a battery that is of 12 volt. Right. So this circuit has been minimized to this. Now this again you can see this as two resistors in parallel. So for two resistors in parallel, this will give me one more equivalent resistance, and I can use this at 1 upon R is equal to 1 upon 6 plus 1 upon 6, that is going to be 2 upon 6, that is 1 upon 3. So R is going to be 3 ohms. R is going to be 3 ohms. So this will give me another equivalent circuitry, that is 12 volt, and a final equivalent resistance that is of 3 ohms. Is this clear? So this will be 12 volt and it is going to be 3 ohms. So finally this circuit has been reduced to this value. So 3 ohms is an equivalent of all these 5 resistance. It was possible because this bridge was balanced, so I could remove this resistance. After removing this resistance, it became easier for me to add these two resistors in series, add these two resistors in parallel, and to get the final equivalent resistance. So from this you can understand the importance of Wheatstone bridge, that if the bridge is balanced, it becomes easier for us to solve the problems and get the equivalent resistor. Our ultimate aim is to what? Find the current I. Now you can find the current I, V is equal to I into R, right? So it's going to be 4 amperes, right? So this is the advantage, and this is the configuration, and this is the use of Wheatstone bridge, which can be used to satisfy certain conditions. There will be certain problems based on this, like if this resistance, what resistance should be added parallel to this by which it will be a balanced bridge. So you have to consider this total S as a total resistance and this arm. A bridge is made up of 4 arms, arm 1, arm 2, arm 3, arm 4, right? So this is the resistance of each arms. So within this, if there may be 3-4 resistors in series, so the total resistance will be the resistance R, right? So this is one thing which you have to understand into this. So please make a note of this.